Welcome to Creativity's Signals Atlas. Here, we map the hidden forces, the things that decide what gets created, and maybe, more importantly, what actually survives.
So, this is our signal for today. Just one single observation, but it hints at this invisible mechanism that's shaping pretty much all creative outcomes right now. It's a quiet idea for sure, but it completely challenges what we think we know about where originality comes from, especially in today's world.
Okay, so to really get this signal, we have to go deeper. We need to look past just the feeling of being creative and actually get into the physics of it. What is really going on inside the mind when a new idea clicks into place?
It turns out there are these three core patterns that explain a lot. They show why real, genuine originality almost always seems to pop up, well, not when we're grinding away, but in those moments when we've stepped back. And these aren't just, good habits. They're basically mechanical processes happening in the brain.
The first pattern is called recombination, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's where all these different bits of information that you've collected, from projects, random conversations, articles you read months ago, they all start to quietly collide and connect. But here's the catch. This can only happen when the outside world gets turned down to zero. The brain has to shift gears from taking stuff in to actually putting stuff together. And this is where most creators get it wrong. We confuse these two states all the time. We think that more input, just consuming more stuff, is going to lead to better output. But the reality is that integration phase, that's where the real magic happens. That's where originality is forged. Yeah, consumption gives you the raw materials, the Lego bricks, but integration, that's what actually builds something new. Okay, the second pattern, this one's called decoupled solving. And I guarantee you've experienced this. It's when you're just wrestling with a problem for hours, maybe days, hitting a total wall, and then boom, the answer just appears out of nowhere while you're in the shower or out for a walk. It feels like magic, but it's not. It's a very real cognitive state. And this is the really crucial part. That feeling of grinding it out, that sustained, conscious effort, it can actually be the very thing that's blocking the breakthrough. It gets in the way of those weird, nonlinear connections you need for a truly elegant solution. So when you step away, you're not giving up. You're actually letting a deeper, less supervised part of your mind take over and finish the job. So, okay, our minds are clearly wired for this kind of internal integration. But they don't operate in a vacuum, right? They're out in the world. So how does our modern environment, this whole attention game, mess with this natural system?
Let's be real. The modern creative environment is basically an engine designed for continuous input. And these things, the infinite feeds, the notifications, being connected 24/7, they're not random. They are the specific tools of an attention economy. They are deployed by platforms whose entire business model depends on one thing, keeping you consuming. So the system isn't rewarding originality. It's rewarding reaction speed. And in doing that, it's actively destroying the empty space you need for integration. And this leads to a pretty predictable outcome, doesn't it? When your mind is never, ever allowed to switch from consume mode to integrate mode, what happens? Well, creativity just collapses. It becomes nothing more than reacting to the latest trend. So derivative work, it's not just a failure of imagination. In this game, it's actually the winning move, because the game selects for speed and familiarity. And the result? We get this endless stream of clever remixes, but almost nothing that builds a truly new structure. And this system, it's not neutral. There's a real cost here. And it's paid by talented creators who just don't understand the game that's being played around them. So, what are the chances of a truly new idea, a new structure, emerging from a mind that has absolutely zero empty space? The chance is zero, literally zero. And I want to be super clear. This is not some poetic metaphor. This is a statement about mechanics. It's physics. A brain that is just saturated with constant new input is stuck in a state of perpetual reaction. It literally has no bandwidth left to run those quiet background processes that build something new.
So who's paying this price? Well, it's the talented designer whose work suddenly feels stale. It's the founder whose strategy is always just one step behind the curve. The cost is measured in stalled careers, in brilliant ideas that never actually ship, and in original work that just never escapes its creator's mind, because it was never, ever given the space it needed to actually form. But here's the thing. Elite creators, I'm talking about the people who consistently produce work that defines their field, they operate differently.
they have a totally different mental orientation. They see the system, they understand it, and they know how to leverage it. First off, they see stillness as a tool, not as a failure. They completely reframe the idea of boredom. It's not being lazy, it's not inefficiency. To them, it's a strategic, necessary part of the process. It's the tool they use for integration. They also trust the process of incubation. They have the discipline, and it really is discipline, to step away from a tough problem, even when the pressure is on. They just have this deep implicit trust that the best solutions are often built in the background, away from the harsh glare of their conscious attention.
And this might be the most important point of all. They protect space, not just time. Look, this isn't about scheduling downtime in your calendar and then just filling it with podcasts or articles. No, this is about aggressively, fiercely defending genuine input-free mental space. Because that's the only place where recombination can actually happen.
Okay, so now let's turn this whole framework around and point it inward, because the point of all this isn't just to diagnose some abstract system out there. It's to give you the right questions to start analyzing your own creative process. First question, when were you last truly bored? And I mean actually bored. No phone, no music, no podcast in your ears. Just a total, complete absence of external input. When was the last time you really allowed for that kind of mental emptiness? Second question, where do your best ideas actually find you? Seriously, think about it. Be honest with yourself. What's the environment? What's your state of mind when your most original, your most valuable thoughts have shown up? Was it while you were staring at a screen? Or was it somewhere else?
And the final question is this: what's drowning out your thoughts? I want you to identify the specific sources of stimulation, the feeds, the alerts, the noise, that are occupying the very space where your next big idea could be forming. Right now, what is filling the space that is supposed to be empty?